yes, it's a Melbourne Cup, and we're used to seeing double figured winners, and if a favourite is going around, it's $8 or $9 quite often. But this year we were talking in the infamous green room that there's a lot of horses that just have absolutely none in this field. So you've got Vauban, you've got Gold Trip, you've got Without a Fight. They're between $3.50 and like $7. There's not any reason for there to be four horses at between $8 and $12. I just think there's two clear standouts or maybe three clear standouts, including Without a Fight, the Caulfield Cup win, and then it's for the tipsters that are doing their top four numbers, and when you're riding a first four, it is just a field job in for fourth.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Agree, Patrick?
In years gone by, you always look down in the weights and something to be running on with being a handicap, try and even out the playing field so that they all run across the line at the same time. But some of these guys, they're going to be a long way behind to be running on. So there's a lot that I can't get hot over, but I'm looking to the form on the board. The guys that have the runs on the board, the wins in the bank, I don't see a lot of that happening with a few of these limp-ins that have made the field. So I don't know, maybe you can shed some light on a bit of an outsider, Zammy.
I don't know if I can shed any light on an outsider. I'm not necessarily arguing with you guys. There's a long tail to this race.
You're kind of in agreement with me that there's
falls off a cliff.
Only a few chances.
Yeah, falls off a cliff very quickly. I think maybe an Athabaskan or something like that. If it makes the field at 60-1, it's probably going to start shorter, and we'll have some fans. But no, I'm not here to give everyone an outsider. That's for sure.
I think the outsider to include in your trifectas and first fours is Alan Kerr. I think it'll be a popular runner as well on the day because it is Damien Oliver's rider. It's his last Melbourne Cup. So the once-a-year punters that are looking to get that sentimental bet on, they're probably speccing Alan Kerr. But his run was actually very good in that Moonee Valley Gold Cup. He didn't need to win it because he's sort of right up the top of that order of entry, and he might have 55.5 kilos or something like that, but he'll run the 3,200 on his ear, and his European form before he came out here was very good. So he's the one that I want to have in the numbers.
Yeah, looking at it as just a trial in that race, I guess you can come to that conclusion. But talking about sentimental, what about the people that backed Vow and Declare the year it won the Melbourne Cup? I know 9-year-old now, but arguably going better than when it won the Melbourne Cup. And I think what did carry when it won it? 51.5.
Yep.
I
don't know if you could say he's going better because he's just run. He's going well, but I don't reckon he's going better because that Melbourne Cup year he ran really well in the Turnbull, and then he ran second to Murder Glass in a Caulfield Cup. This year he's come through the Caulfield Stakes and the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, which has got to be a tier down from a Turnbull and a Caulfield Cup.
The one that it's not quite an outsider, but the one that I'm saying can run well from those that start to get out in odds is the Japanese horse Breakup. You have to forgive its last run because how's it going to turn the tables on Without a Fight, Solcombe and Co. On face value, it won't. But you just look back through its form and you see it's run a third and a fourth, I think, to Justin Palace, who was the horse rattling home for second behind Equinox there the other day, and everyone's all excited about Equinox as obviously the world's best horse. How do you ignore that form over 3,000 metres in Japan with the record that they have when bringing horses here? No doubt it would have had some improvement. No doubt it will improve to 3,200. That's probably the horse where I can say there's an argument to be made if you want to talk an outsider of sorts without it being.
I agree with you, Zamet. I don't mind it at all, especially like you said around Equinox. And I don't mind more Fallon. We're just talking about that before we jumped on as well. Imagine that for a friggin' story. Jamie Carr comes and wins the Melbourne Cup or
Nick could be around it, wouldn't he?
What about the chat around that? Wouldn't that be? Yeah. I'd actually love to see it. But
I had the ticket. Like I had the same horse double for him to win the Geelong Cup and the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
And like at that time, it was 300-1 in the Melbourne Cup, and I didn't take anything just in the Cup, but his run in that Geelong Cup, it was good, but there was 7 of them cross the line together, and it was won by a maid who was 900 days between wins. Like if something out of that Geelong Cup comes and wins a Melbourne Cup, I'll walk home.
In that form.
Boys, talk to me about Gold Trip. Last win in the Group 1 Turnbull. It's come out since and ran in the the Caulfield.
Cox Plate.
Cox. and now comes in as our second favourite for the Melbourne Cup. Gold Trip's $4.50 with Dabble. Pat, I know you've got an opinion on this horse. You tipped it. You were very confident last year in the Melbourne Cup,
bullish.
tipping Gold Trip.
Who have we got on? Who's our jockey this year?
James McDonald.
J-Mac.
J-Mac. How good is that?
Yeah, he secured that right about
Late pickup.
4 days ago.
Yep.
Oh, killing it. I thought Ben Mellon might have got it. But, mate, he's another one, arguably going better than when he went into the Cup last year.
I
would
is,
say.
yeah.
I know Durston knocked him off in the Caulfield Cup. Well, I know Durston went a miss early in the prep, but still, it's gotten beaten by a horse like Without a Fight. The jockeys jumped off him to go the other way. There's a bit of story behind this horse now going into this Cup, and wouldn't it be great to see a horse come out and win back-to-back Cups? It's definitely right up to its eyeballs and able to do it. Just the story behind it. That's the only probably knock I've got is that Zara got off it. But gets J-Mac aboard, so you lose nothing there. And yeah, there's no reason why he couldn't go back to back. I'm not concerned with the weight. They were saying the big weight last year would stop him, and he just carries it. No worry in the world.
Gold Trip's the best chance that we've had in 20 years to win back-to-back Melbourne Cups. Like, I don't know how many have actually run the following year. There'd be a few, but
There'd be a heap, yeah.
He's head and shoulders above anything else, I think.
What, since Mackay, you reckon?
I think so.
I'm trying to think any of those that were major chances. It would have been those internationals.
I would have loved to have seen Protectionist come back 12 months later because he could have, because he was sort of down on the weights when he won it in 2014.
It's probably the Dunedins and Americanes of the world that were the best chances that I can remember since the Diva.
Well, Americane did. He came back and started
ran third, didn't he?
Third or fourth. Yep.
And Dunedin similar, I think.
Yeah, Dunedin definitely won the Caulfield Cup the following year, but anyway, that was 10 years ago, longer. Jeez.
The other side of that storyline, Without a Fight, has any of you three got that horse on top for Melbourne Cup?
I do. So I've said a lot about that horse on this podcast. He's been my horse for the spring. He's ticked one of the big three, and I think he could tick a second. Only his third start this prep. There's still upside, isn't there, boys? He's still got improvement.
I've got to agree, Zammy. It's the overlooked horse for us, or for me.
Still
I guess,
$8,
because,
$8.
Yeah, it's still $8 with Dabble.
Cup winner.
Like,
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's the overlooked horse because I was on Gold Trip. So you're too busy saying, geez, my horse ran well. That's a very good Cup trial. And you're overlooking the winner. Fuck, it was a run and a half that it was able to just... It came from behind Gold Trip, didn't it?
It did. And don't be worried about him not staying or any...
Yeah, then laid in.
Yeah, because, I mean, he failed in the Cup last year, but it was on a wet track, so ignore it. I don't think he's a query at the 2 miles. He looked in trouble on the turn. He was off the bit, and West Wind Blows put a margin on him. And he's just powered home over the top of him and Gold Trip. He'll meet Gold Trip a little worse at the weights after the penalty. But I think he's got more scope. I really do. I really do think he's got more scope for improvement. He'll go to a new peak there in that race and just needs a dry track. I think you have to cop the tip from Zara. I really do.
Yeah, like if it is an ego and it is what you say, Zaman, and I personally think it is what you're saying, it does it adds so much weight to that argument that he thinks he's on the better horse because, as you just said, Nick, it's probably the best chance in maybe more than 10 years that for a horse to go back to back in the Melbourne Cup.
He's a bit of a quiet achiever, Mark Zara, though, that if J-Mac did this with a horse, the horse that J-Mac switched to go on, 100% would be fine.
I agree.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I mean, look, Gold Trip is very, very popular. And, I mean, I can't knock that he's the price he is. I just can't understand $8 for Without a Fight. That's the bit I can't understand. And I think you're right. If it's a James McDonald, he's probably nearly half that price.
Well, how good, though, that we've got, like, this year's Melbourne Cup, we've got Ryan Moore on the favourite, J-Mac on the second favourite, Mark Zara, who's absolutely airborne, on that third favourite. You've got Zach Purden here. You've got one of the Japanese jockeys, I think Kohei Matsuyama is coming here to ride Breakup, which I only found out today. I thought Damien Lane was on Breakup in the Melbourne Cup, but they've got his regular Japanese rider out here to ride. So Frosty doesn't have a
They
right.
tried to do that, haven't they, this time? They even tried to have Yutaka, is it Tucky? How do they pronounce his surname? They wanted him to
He was
ride.
injured.
He was injured, yeah, but otherwise he would have ridden. How do you say
Yeah.
it, Sam? You can say it best, that horse's name, in the Golden Eagle.
Oh, I murdered that in the last podcast.
I would have done an even worse job.
Is it
I also appreciate all of you guys in that podcast for not laughing or stopping me as I was going through that, because even as I said it, I thought, well, I don't know how close this is. I don't know how close this
It's like,
is.
well, I've butchered that. Let's just move on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
but
Noel
they've stuck
bringing
with
that
their
up.
jockeys this time, I think. That seems to have been part of the plan.
It worked
I
with
think-
Delta Blues, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good case to have. But I think I would rather Frosty on in it. Like, I'd rather the local jockeys, I think. But I'm sure he's a world class rider. Kohei.
So am I mine without a fight? Oh, actually, Sammy's keen.
Yeah, I'm with
Anyone
you.
else?
Oh, he's in the.
You got to
numbers for
spec
sure.
it at. You got to spec it at $8.
Have to.
I think I'm in the position
I agree.
where I'm on.
You've talked me into it. Where it's well,
stuff.
seeing J-Mac on Gold Trip, I'd love to say if you waited, you get a better price, but you're going to have all the mugs money that go top jockey.
Who won the cup last year?
Year's winner.
Oh, okay, I'll back
Last
that
year's
one.
winner.
Yeah.
Easy, like it's easy. It's an easy one to fall into.
It's an easy
so
find.
It's tough to think that you'll get a better price on the day for it because it's got so much momentum already behind it with the celebrity.
So if any of these horses we're talking about you like, right now where we sit, take Without a Fight's price. Take Gold Trip's price.
Don't-
Wait
yeah.
on Vauban.
Don't be launching into Gold Trip's price. I just don't think
No.
you'll get any better. I don't think you'll get any worse, but I don't think you'll get any better.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.